Anna has been one of the most discussed units in Fire Emblem Engage, and for good reason. She's a fresh take on a fan-favorite character, and she has one of the most unique personal skills in the game, along with very high growths, particularly in magic. Her join situation also generates discussion, as she joins at a low level with unimpressive bases and in Axe Fighter, which is a strange class for a unit with high magic growth to be in. With that in mind, conventional knowledge has been that Anna just needs a reclass, so you should promote her and then reclass her into Sage or Mage Knight. However, I think there's a case for keeping her in Warrior. This is the lowest investment option for Anna, and it still provides a good return, so let's talk about what Warrior can do for Anna. First, I want to quickly note that this video is just going to be comparing Anna's performance in Warrior versus Anna's performance in other classes. So I'm going to be assuming we're interested in using Anna, and I'm not going to speak too much on her slow start or her need for resources like Micaiah in this video. So this video isn't really about whether Anna is good or bad in comparison to other units, it's mostly just about whether Warrior Anna is good in comparison to our other Anna options. First, let's look at the differences between our three class options. Sage provides the highest magic of the three classes as well as staff access. Staves are great in Engage, and they provide a good way for Anna to contribute and earn experience while waiting for her combat to get up to par. However, her speed will suffer in this class, and she'll miss doubling thresholds in Sage that she wouldn't in Mage Knight. There are also a lot of staff units that don't require as much investment, so Anna's combat still needs to eventually stand out in Sage to make the investment worth our while. Mage Knight, on the other hand, trades a small amount of magic and staff access for more speed, a little bit of build, and a point of move and sword access. That sword access mainly matters for the Levin sword, which will be one of Mage Knight Anna's best damage options in the mid-game of Engage. Last but not least, we have Warrior, which gives Anna her lowest magic but her highest strength, and provides access to bows and axes. The axes aren't useful for much besides providing the occasional break against a lance unit due to Anna's poor durability, but the bows help her kill fliers. The main reason this class can work is the Radiant Bow, with a massive 19 might and flyer effectiveness. The Radiant Bow deals damage based on the user's magic, which allows Anna to hit a surprising amount of one-shot thresholds on flyers that are difficult for many other archers to hit. Plus, Warrior Anna gets to be a backup unit, allowing her to contribute every turn with a longbow or dual assist. Plus, you save an early 2,500 gold on a second seal with Warrior Anna, which actually matters quite a bit since money can be pretty tight in the early game before you get an influx of cash from Brodia. So, looking at Anna in Warrior, her strength on promotion is lower than other options like Etier or even Warrior Alchrist, and she doesn't have much bulk, so axes are a dicey option for her except in situations where she can break the enemy. But it's important to note that this slow start relative to other units isn't unique to Warrior Anna. Mage Knight Anna at promotion has the same magic as base level Citrine, for example. Regardless of which class you go with, Anna is going to have some growing pains as she waits for her growths to help her double and deal more damage to enemies. What's unfortunate is that barring really heavy Micaiah usage, these growing pains tend to occur around the Solm arc, where deployment can be very tight. In chapters 12 and 13, it's difficult to justify the use of any unit that isn't making major contributions, because you only get 6 non-Alir deployment slots in chapter 12 and 7 non-Alir slots in 13. Assuming we get Anna to level 10 via Micaiah usage in chapters 8 and 9, then promote her with our third Master Seal, she's not going to make a great contribution in chapter 12 no matter what path we take, and is decently likely to ride the bench unless we're taking this map as an opportunity to get Anna a couple extra levels. If you do bring Anna to this map, Mage Knight and Sage can deal with the axe users with a forged Hellfire, and Warrior Anna can one-shot the flyers with a forged steel bow, but Fogado can take them out too with the silver bow in his inventory, and he's force deployed, so you may not feel like you need another bow user. Things become a lot more interesting for Anna after this chapter though, for 2 reasons. 1, we get a Levin sword, and 2, we get a silver bow. These are very relevant for Mage Knight and Warrior Anna respectively. The Levin sword provides a cheap to forge, high might magic weapon that can break axe users. It's a great choice for Mage Knight Anna, especially later in the mid-game when Anna's speed has grown enough to double more enemies with it despite its weight. The silver bow can be used as a high might bow, or we can convert it into a radiant bow at the forge. This is an investment, but it's very attainable as the forge costs 100 iron and 10 steel. It's a lot of steel, but it doesn't cost you any silver, and the radiant bow has enough might that you won't need to forge it for a while to hit important benchmarks. So it's a high initial cost, but then you don't need to upgrade it again for a minute. If you don't want to forge the silver bow for an early radiant bow, we get one for free in chapter 14, so it's not too long of a wait. but Anna has some useful utility with an early Radiant Bow that I'll get into in a minute. Unfortunately for Sage Anna, unlike Mage Knight and Warrior, Sage doesn't get anything special for Chapter 13, but it does have access to staff utility, so that is something special Sage Anna can do on basically every map that the other two versions of Anna can't. With all of that in mind, let's look at each version of Anna's performance in Chapter 13 at internal level 12. I arrived at internal level 12 by assuming she gets to use Micaiah until level 10, and then gets her third Master Seal and primarily provides Chip in Chapters 11 and 12. You could give or take a couple levels and not much changes. The spreadsheet shows Mage Knight Anna's performance against a selection of Chapter 13 enemies using a few different weapons. Her performance against most of the foot units is a little lacking, but the Barbarian and Axe Fighters are where she stands out here. With a +2 meal and any speed from a Bond Ring, Anna can double with a Forged Fire Tome, leaving the Barbarian with only 3 HP and the Axe Fighter with just 1. This is low enough that you have a chance at a kill with a single chain attack or with a small damage boost from a Leer, food, or a Bond Ring. For the rest of the enemies, Mage Knight Anna is largely providing Chip. Against Swordmasters and Wolf Knights, Anna provides Chip of less than half their health, but these are some of the stronger enemies on the map. She also struggles against units with good resistance or decent speed. Against mages on this map, Anna can deal 18 damage, and that's after a small amount of speed help to double, leaving the mage alive with 7 HP. Similarly, against the faster sword fighters, it's difficult for Mage Knight Anna to double, so she just chunks them for about half their health with a Forged Levin Sword. Against the map's flyers, Mage Knight Anna isn't doing much. Even with a Forged Wind Tome, she can't chip any of the map's flyers for more than half their health, and it takes her 3 hits to get through the pair of Wyvern Knights on the map. Sage Anna looks pretty similar to Mage Knight Anna on this map, but with one small but important difference. Sage Anna is too slow to double the Barbarians unless you're going to give her one of your emblem rings. However, with 3 points of speed help, she can double the Axe Fighters, and the extra magic from Sage means she can one-round them without any damage help. How important this is depends on how many chain attackers you have or how many damage boosts you're giving Anna. If you're regularly getting chain attacks, or if you give Anna a tonic, Mage Knight will also be one-rounding these Axe Fighters, but it is nice that Sage Anna can do it with just a little bit of speed help instead of a little bit of speed and a little bit of damage help. From a combat perspective, I prefer Mage Knight over Sage in this map because it's fairly easy to get to one-shotting the Axe Fighters, and you can double the Barbarians in Mage Knight. Though Sage does get to cast a Loom for extra experience and vision on this map, which is something that other Annas can't do. Now on to Warrior. Warrior Anna performs worse against the grounded units on this map. She doesn't double the Barbarians, and her chip is lower than Mage Knight and Sage. The exception to this is against low resistance enemies like mages, which Warrior deals much more chip damage to with an unforged steel bow, but she doesn't one-shot them. Against the Axe Fighters, Warrior Anna can double with a little speed help, but only for 32 to 36 damage depending on how forged your steel bow is. But either way, it's far enough from the Axe Fighter's 43 health that a chain attack isn't going to get you there. Where Warrior Anna does shine is against the map's flyers. With a Radiant Bow, Anna can one-shot every one of the 14 flyers on this map, not counting reinforcements. Notably, this includes the pair of Wyvern Knights that even other archers struggle with. The only other bow users that can one-shot those Wyverns without a reclass, or the Lucina emblem for Parthia access, are Fogado with a Radiant Bow, or Etier at internal level 13 with a +1 silver bow. So overall on this map, all 3 versions of Anna are providing varying amounts of chip, with Mage Knight and Sage Anna occasionally one-rounding some of the slower Axe Fighters on the map. In contrast, Warrior Anna provides the weakest chip against grounded enemies, but her strong performance against flyers gives her a legitimate niche on this map and makes it pretty easy to justify her deployment, compared to Mage Knight and Sage Anna, where it's a little trickier to justify their deployment because all they're really doing is one-shotting some slower axe users, and a lot of units can do that. Being able to one-shot a bunch of flyers also means that Warrior Anna can get a lot of kills and experience on this map without anyone having to feed them to her. So Warrior Anna looks pretty good on this map, but this comparison is being made almost immediately after promotion, so Anna hasn't had that much time to benefit from her magic growth, and I picked a map with a bunch of flyers, so there's a lot that favors Warrior here. Let's look at a map with almost no flyers. Chapter 17 is a challenging map with 6 bosses and loads of enemies, but almost no flyers, so if we assume Anna gains a couple levels each chapter, let's look at her performance in Chapter 17 at internal level 21. We can start with Mage Knight again. With a +3 Levin Sword, Mage Knight Anna comes up just shy of being able to one-round the generals in this chapter, leaving them at 3 HP. It's very easy to turn that into a one round though. A chain attack, magic food, a bond ring, a mighty grave, Corrin ring. So many options that I think it's safe to assume that Mage Knight Anna is one-shotting these generals. She falls a little shorter of one-shotting the Berserkers on Chapter 17, leaving them with 10 HP. Getting to one-rounding the Berserkers is a little harder here since Anna needs speed help and 5 points of damage help. The speed help is fairly easy, speed plus 3 is only 500 SP, and that gets her where she needs to be for this map. The 10 damage is also achievable, but it's a bit more taxing as you need to either use conditional boosts like Alir's personal skill and chain attacks, or resources that are competed for like engraves and emblem rings. Anna can one-round mages on this map with no speed or damage help using a forged Fire, and she just needs 1 point of speed if she wants to do it with the Levin Sword. Mage Knight Anna's shakiest performances in Chapter 17 are against some of the promoted units on the map. She's tickling High Priests and Sages with her magic weapons, and switching to physical weapons is difficult with her strength of 10, and she doesn't have enough build to double with heavier but higher might weapons like the Silver Sword. Mage Knight Anna also has a hard time against Paladins on this map, failing to double them and needing 3 hits to take them out. Next we can look at Sage. Sage Anna actually does a couple fewer points of damage to the generals on this map due to a tragic lack of Levin Sword. Still, she only needs 3 points of help on her attack to one-round them, which is pretty trivial. A tonic and a +1 bond ring gets you there. So we can assume Sage Anna is also one-shotting the generals. Berserkers are a little dicier. Mage Knight needed 3 points of speed to help double these. Sage needs 6 to double with Fire, and getting those 6 points of speed will leave you 8 damage short of killing the Berserker, so you're going to have to spend some competitive resources to get the 6 speed and the extra damage here, if you want Anna to one-shot these. Like Mage Knight, Sage Anna easily one-rounds the map's mages with Fire, and she doesn't need any help to double them. Again, similar to Mage Knight, she struggles against High Priest, Paladin, and Sage, providing negligible chip against Sage and High Priest, and 3-rounding the Paladin. The staff utility from Sage is pretty helpful on this map though. Things like Obstruct and Freeze can be very helpful if you're getting overwhelmed by enemies, which is not unlikely on your first time through this map. Sage Anna also makes the best case for Corrin access, since Mystic typing lets her make fire terrain, which is useful in the last portion of this map when all the remaining enemies charge you. So these factors can tilt things in Sage's favor a little bit. Lastly, we have Warrior Anna, and Warrior Anna has the weakest performance against the map's generals, leaving them with 9 health after a double from the Radiant Bow. Like the other Annas, we can get this to be a one-round, but it takes slightly more. Just a tonic and a bond ring won't quite do it. Warrior Anna can also get to doubling against the Berserkers on this map with a little speed help, but she doesn't come as close to one-rounding them as Mage Knight, so getting her to one-round here is not trivial. She does double these guys a lot easier than Sage Anna though, who needs 6 points of speed to double compared to Warrior Anna needing 4. But then Warrior Anna needs more damage help on top of that to get to a one-round. High resistance enemies are where Warrior Anna performs well on this map. Using a Forged Steel or a Silver Bow, Warrior Anna can one-round mages on this map and provide meaningful chip on Sages and High Priests, compared to the single-digit damage that other versions of Anna are doing to these enemies. And Warrior Anna also 3-rounds the Paladins, just like the other versions of Anna. There are a ton of generals on this map, so I would give the combat performance edge to Mage Knight, since it's easy to get that version of Anna to one-rounding, and she also doubles the Berserkers. But the important thing to note here is that Warrior Anna is still performing respectably on a map with 0 flyers and lots of armors, which are perfect for the other 2 versions of Anna. It's worth noting though that we're also late enough in the game at this point that it's easy for Anna to have access to Dual Assist Plus, which can easily add an extra 10 to 15 damage a turn for Warrior Anna. So even on a map that should be very bad for Warrior Anna, she still contributes against low resistance and defense enemies with her mixed damage, while still providing okay chip damage and providing a bunch of extra damage from Dual Assist. And this is basically the story throughout the entire rest of the game. Warrior Anna performs worse than Mage Knight and Sage Anna against low resistance enemies, but her better strength helps her perform better against high resistance enemies, and the Radiant Bow enables her to one-shot most flyers for the entire game. The further you get into the game, the more pronounced these differences become. Endgame Mage Knight and Sage Anna can one-round low resistance enemies that Warrior Anna can't, while Warrior Anna performs better against High Priests and Sages and kills flyers. Regardless of which class you go with, Anna can fill a niche, either as a third magic user with Ivy and Pandreo, or as one of your primary flyer killers and Dual Assist supporters that can still occasionally one-round other enemies. What I like about Warrior Anna though, besides her performance against flyers, is that she doesn't need to reclass. A lot of Anna carry strategies involve grinding her up with Micaiah and then giving her one of the early second seals, Besides this just being more investment than Warrior Ana needs, if you're trying to make donations, money can be tight before you get the influx of gold from Brodia, so it is a meaningful cost to have to spend that 2,500 gold on a second seal. Hypothetically, Ana's personal skill, which gives her a luck % chance of earning 500 gold every time she gets a kill, makes you that money back eventually. But her base luck is only 3, and she's unlikely to be getting a bunch of kills until after promotion. So if we do Warrior Ana, we get to save 2,500 gold at a part of the game where money is really tight. And you also get to be profitable sooner on Warrior Ana than other versions of Ana, since you only need 5 personal skill activations to pay for her promotion item, versus needing 10 activations to pay for her promotion item and a second seal. Sage will make you more money in the long term, with its higher luck and better claim to Byleth, but Warrior Ana saves you money when you really need it, and provides a return on investment much quicker than other Ana options. So Warrior Ana is lower investment compared to other class options, fills a useful niche for the entire game in flyer killing, and still provides regular contributions through chain attacks, one-rounding high-resistance enemies, and providing decent chip against the rest of the enemies in the game. And she doesn't need more than a cheap-to-forge Radiant Bow and one of the many decent physical bows to perform in this role. Perhaps most importantly, Warrior Ana also performs her role of killing flyers the moment she promotes and you hand her a Radiant Bow, while Mage Knight and Sage Ana need a few more levels to really start excelling in their role. If you want to make Ana into more of a carry unit, Mage Knight or Sage with access to more expensive tomes like Bolganone and Nova are the way to go, but you'll be spending a lot of resources to get her the right weapons, and she needs some levels after promotion before she really starts taking off, and she needs that second seal when both money and seals can be competitive resources. Plus, she's competing with a bunch of other potential magical carries like Ivy, Pandreo, and even Jean if we're considering spending all of these resources and grinding a unit up. So Mage Knight and Sage Ana are great if you want a high investment carry type unit, but Warrior Ana is best if you want a version of Ana that fills a niche more immediately and doesn't require much investment to excel. If you're using Ana on your next run, think about what role you need filled on the team. If you already have Ivy and Pandreo carrying your magic damage, consider trying Ana in Warrior for a lower investment version that saves you some money and makes more immediate contributions while providing backup attack utility. You know, or don't, and make her a Mage Knight so that you get the funny horse hat. I'm not your dad, I can't tell you what to do, and it is a very good horse hat. But I think if you try Warrior Ana, once she gets her hands on a Radiant Bow, you won't be disappointed. While you're thinking about trying Warrior Ana, you should also think about checking out our upcoming charity stream to support LGBTQ youth on April 22nd. We're going to be playing Sacred Stones, but the guests will be controlling all of the enemies, and every time I lose a unit or a map, I'll make a donation to the Trevor Project, an organization dedicated to providing crisis support for LGBTQ youth. The stream is going to be a lot of fun, and there will even be some fun donation incentives, including a giveaway of my physical copy of Path of Radiance. You can find a link to the stream below and set a reminder so that you'll be alerted when we go live. Thanks for watching the video, and I hope you have an awesome week.